What's up? Welcome back to Humanity Sells Podcast, where we talk about how to elevate your brand, amplify your message, and grow by becoming more human. We are on a mission to help 1,000 digital transformation leaders do exactly just that. Today, we're going to talk about something that's not a touchy subject, but lots of differentiating or different opinions. This idea of brand awareness. Should you invest in brand awareness?
Ooh.
Should you not? Is it fluff?
What is
it strategic?
Is it real?
Will it make me money? Well, is it a growth driver, to use a buzzword?
Is it snake oil?
Welcome to the Humanity Sells Podcast, where we talk about the marketing revolution that's happening in tech consulting and how the best businesses are elevating their brand, amplifying their message, and selling more by being more human. We're your hosts, Brandon Triola.
And I'm Nate Nettie. Let's get into it.
Brand awareness 101. Hey, let's talk about it.
I have a question. Do you think that the brand guys, the guys who had a brand and marketing agency, are going to tell everybody that brand awareness is important? TBD. You don't know me.
You know what I'm going to do?
You don't know what I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to say it. I think it is.
Important.
I subjectively think it is. But let me give you an objective chunk of data.
Well, okay. Yeah, give me the data. I want to know what you think it is. Define it for me.
First of all, I think everybody listening to this, I don't think the problem is, should we invest in brand awareness? I think everybody knows, well, yeah, like we just don't have the resources and, you know, it's hard to track and do attribution around. I think everybody knows. I just think nobody really prioritizes it. I think it's just kind of seen as this, well, yeah, that's just for the big four. Brand awareness is for the big four, not really
big guys.
It's for the big guys, not for us.
Who just have money to throw at anything.
Yeah, maybe you're a $20 million business and you're just like, maybe you've already checked out. Hopefully you haven't. Let me just read a stat. BCG did an amazing deep research-based study.
Boston Consulting Group, for those of you.
They found this: higher brand marketing maturity correlates with a higher return on brand marketing expenditure. Basically, the more you focus on brand awareness and invest in brand awareness, the better your ROI on your marketing spend.
Read it again.
I'll read their own jargony version. Higher brand marketing maturity correlates with a higher return on brand marketing expenditure.
Oh, interesting. So the more mature you are at investing in brand, the more you get from your return.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You get more for your dollars.
That makes sense.
You put $1 in, you get $5 back instead of $1.50.
If you're more mature at investing in stocks, you'll get a better return on your stock investments.
Here's what we've learned in the last 4 years. The most human technology brands that exist are the ones that not only value brand awareness, they invest in it and they make it part of their regular strategy. So we're going to talk a little bit about brand awareness, but we love to use, you guys, y'all been listening to these episodes. There's so many good B2C examples to talk about brand awareness. I've got some favorites. We were just kind of talking about this. I haven't seen the new, the Air movie yet, the Air Jordan movie yet. Yeah. Apparently someone told me it got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Somebody said that every actor in the film should get an Oscar, even including Chris Tucker. It's that good. So I'm ready to see it.
Even including Chris Tucker.
Like seriously,
dude, I love Chris Tucker. Have you watched the Rush Hour movies lately?
Not lately,
dude.
But I
you
mean,
gotta
they
go
were
back.
staples growing
they
up.
They are so. They are
probably dates us a little bit.
Nothing touches this body but silk. That's what he said.
The point is, I think my favorite brand awareness campaign from all time is just the idea that a shoe company got together and said, we are going to find a basketball player and make them the trust transfer for our brand.
It seems like such an afterthought now. Shoe companies support athletes.
Yeah.
But at the time,
yeah, it was not a thing. It was not like it was a risk, and that's what the whole movie's about. Like it was a really big risk to take, but when you boil down what that they were trying to do, what Phil Knight and them were doing with Michael Jordan, they were executing a brand awareness campaign.
That's cool.
They said, we're going to put our swoosh on this guy's feet, and it's going to get our logo, our symbol, what we represent in front of way more people than it is right now. Brand awareness. And you guys know the history, right? I mean, We don't need to get into that, but that's definitely one of my favorites. I think about it all the time. I mean, I'm a massive Nike fan. I'm a massive Jordan fan, obviously for the impact that he's had on basketball and for just the Nike brand in general. But the brilliance behind that idea in and of itself is one of the reasons why I'm just a huge brand. I'm a brand loyalist, I guess I would say, to Nike. Anybody that knows me, you will not find a pair of Adidas in my closet.
You're wearing Nikes right now.
I'm wearing Nikes right now. I have a pair of Jordans right here. Yeah. So I'm a huge brand loyalist, but again, it's part of that is because I just think they're brilliant. They're brilliant when it comes to brand awareness and marketing. Huge fans. What about you? What do you like?
I'm a big fan. Well, my example is actually a Nike example too, ironically, but in a little bit of a different.
Well, by the way, we're not sponsors, but Nike, hit us up.
Hit us up.
I'm open.
If you want to get into the marketing space for B2B Tech, we can rep.
Yeah.
We can rep. Mine actually is a Nike thing too. It seems the trend is that they are experimental. They're willing to take risks. They're willing to take chances on new things, and which I don't think that we see in tech consulting. It's a lot of what's proven, more of the same. But I think my example, independent of your example, because I didn't know you were going to pick that one, being Nike kind of illustrates like, man, they're doing some interesting stuff. What they did was they partnered with this guy named Casey Neistat, who's a YouTuber. If you've never watched any of Casey Neistat's videos, if you're like, who is this guy? He's a filmmaker. He had a TV show with HBO in the early 2000s, and then he's just...
Let's get him on. Let's get him on the podcast.
Extremely creative. One of the world's foremost creators, like the original vlogger, invented a whole genre, invented a style. He's just super cool. Excuse me, but Nike hired him. You remember the Fuel Band?
Yeah.
Remember that product that came out?
Absolutely.
So they hired Casey Neistat like to do like the Fuel Band. And this is before he blew up as a YouTuber. Like he was just making films, making commercials, writing, directing, shooting. And the film, you can watch it on YouTube. It's called Make It Count. That was the slogan for the Fuel Band. Make it count. It was like a just do it, but like contextualized to the band. Make it count. And the video is amazing because it starts off by him saying, Nike gave us a budget for this video. We decided we weren't going to make their video. We took their money and we decided we're going to travel the world until the money ran out. And the whole video is them trying to get around the world as fast as they can while they still have money to spend. And it is just them going like airport, on a plane, they're in Paris, and then they're in somewhere in North Africa, and then they're somewhere in Eastern Europe, and they're just going around. He's showing this map periodically, and it's all about like you have this moment, make it count. The video has 32 million views on it.
Golly.
And in today's, views can be
I haven't even
in the
seen
billions.
This. Apparently it didn't work.
It's so awesome.
I didn't see it. No, I need to watch it.
It was hugely successful. I mean, hugely successful.
It's hugely a word?
Hugely. Yeah. I think it's a word. Who knows?
Who
knows what it is? Who knows if hugely
What's the name of
the
name of the campaign? What was the name
Make
of the
It Count.
Make
Go
it
look
count.
it up.
All right.
The reason it was so impactful, it was risky. Hire this young filmmaker.
It's amazing.
And then they just, like Casey specifically, without Nike's permission, I'm guessing, just blew the budget on traveling.
Yeah.
And it was super successful. I have another one for you.
Okay. Keep them coming. This is great.
It was another Casey Neistat campaign that he did. Again, if you can't tell, I'm a fanboy. He did this partnership with Samsung.
Get him on the podcast. Like I said, I mean, I'm into it.
He had this partnership with Samsung, and they were like releasing a phone or something like that. But he like directed and created this video called "Do What You Can't," and it was basically all about how everyone is going to tell you that you can't do something, and just do what you
Talk
can.
about storytelling.
Yeah, it's so powerful.
Golly.
He's an incredible storyteller, and it's just framed everything around these creatives and breaking the mold, everyone telling them they can't do it. And he's like, yeah, do what you can't. Do what other people say that you can't. And it's very, very powerful.
That's awesome. Again, like just another great example of the power of a person.
Yeah, but it's B2C though.
Yeah.
Why don't we see it? Why don't we see it in B2B? Why don't we see it in B2B tech? Why is Microsoft or ServiceNow or, Salesforce not coming out with something that's so alive and so fresh and so motivational, so story driven? Why?
I think they are. I definitely think they are. I think that part of the problem is the B2B and the B2B tech channel. It's like they're smaller and they're verticalized a little bit. Like B2C just goes out. It's just like
it could
a
be
shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyone
so,
can buy Jordans. Anyone can buy a fuel band.
One of my favorite brand awareness campaigns is ServiceNow actually did a great video. They came out with, they produced a beautiful video explaining ServiceNow in a superhuman way. They've got this girl that's trying to watch a Netflix video and it's starting to buffer and she's like, oh man, and then it works. She goes, wait, have I just been not being grateful for when like work actually works, like when things work like they're supposed to.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's an amazing like little journey of her like walking through the city, and it's amazing, but it's not like a mainstream B2C video.
You're right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But that's one of my favorite ones for sure. I think another we've talked about ClickUp. They're not
Huge
a sponsor.
fans.
We love ClickUp.
Not a sponsor, but if they want to.
You go into the San Francisco airport, San Diego airport, you see their sign, save one day every week. And one of the things that's really awesome about what ClickUp did is while everybody was sort of just like doing digital advertising, they like kind of went backwards a little bit as a zag and just went billboard.
Physical advertising,
Chicago.
physical media for a digital product.
We saw them when we drove
really
through Chicago. Like they're all over the place. And they said, we are just going to blast our message over and over again. And they just went crazy with it. And I mean, talk about brand awareness. Like everybody started to go, who's this ClickUp? Like now everybody knows. Like they've taken over.
Yeah, they're stealing market
the
share.
SaaS productivity space.
Not to mention the product is amazing.
It's
back it up. People stay when we use it at our company.
Yeah, so I think that's a really great example.
Guys are brilliant over there.
I think probably another one that I've liked that some people might think is boring, but like we talked about the KPMG, like Phil Mickelson's hat, like wearing KPMG.
Yeah,
even though
he wore that for a long time.
He doesn't wear it anymore, but
for a long time.
Like a giant global Big Four accounting firm, like saying we're going to put our logo on one of the best golfers. Like that might sound boring, but that's a big move.
Yeah,
it's
expensive too.
It's an expensive, amazing brand awareness move, but you don't invest in something like that unless you understand the value of it.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask you, Brandon. That's expensive. Why would I spend the money to put my name on a hat of a guy who's on TV?
Yeah, so let's just get right into it. If you're a digital transformation leader or if you're a technology consultant, there are three essentially human elements to a great brand awareness campaign that we've identified.
Give them to me.
And the first one is if you take all those stories that we just talked about, what I love about this, all the things that you love, those brand awareness campaigns, all of them, then the first thing about all of them, this is one of the key elements, right? They're audacious.
Ooh.
A good brand awareness campaign is audacious. And what I mean by audacious is it's like a little bit crazy. It's a little bit like, why would you say that?
It's not provocative.
Why would you put your logo on like a basketball player's feet?
But it's a little audacious.
Yeah, like putting our logo on a golfer's hat, like a little bit audacious. And lots of these like, I'm going to take Nike's budget. I'm just going to burn it going around the world and just do something that's just going to generate tons of attention, right? Yeah. That's audacious. Mm-hmm. So no matter how big your business is, if you have figured out what the story is that you're going to tell, you can do something a little bit audacious. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is it's got to be appropriate. Okay. So I think these are all going to have an A. They all start with an A. First thing is audacious. The second thing is appropriate. They have to be true to who you are.
That makes sense.
Like you can't do something that's like the Casey Neistat thing with Nike. Like it fits because that's like on brand for Nike for who they are, right?
Yeah, like KPMG isn't sponsoring SeaWorld.
You're not going to see, you're not going to see KPMG on the side of a Red Bull, skydiver.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's got to be appropriate. So you've got to do something that's in the right channel, that's targeted to the right people, that's appropriate to who your brand is. And I can't stress that enough. So it's got to be audacious and it's got to be appropriate. And then the third thing is it's got to be amplified. Like amplify. The thing that's so great about ClickUp is they took this idea, they took this powerful promise. Again, a great tagline should be a promise that
save
you make
one
to your
day
market.
of work a
you
week.
Can save one day
Guaranteed.
of work a week, and they just amplified it into the right channels. They looked at where are the biggest cities in America where all of these business people, all of these entrepreneurs are going to be.
Airports, hubs.
Where do the most productive people live? The people that need to be the most productive, and they just amplify, amplify, amplify. The other element that makes something amplified is you've got to be repetitive and say the same thing over and over again. And I can't stress that enough. So there's a way to do that. You don't need a big budget. You just need a little bit of audaciousness, or audacity, I guess is the word. You just need a little bit of appropriation, right? Or not a little bit. It's got to be appropriate. And then you got to amplify it. And inside of those three things, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can create a video with a very small budget. You could create some other kind of campaign. You could do billboard campaign. You could, believe it or not, I don't want to say this out loud, but depending on your industry, printed mailers. If you're in a legacy industry where a lot of your buyers are 60 years and older, believe it or not, I know a guy that makes a ton of money on, like, he's a publisher. They do magazines, and their audience is older and they buy these magazines. So they sell a ton of advertising in these magazines. I know it sounds old and outdated, but it depends on the market. It depends on the people. So this is possible. Brand awareness is definitely something that you've got to invest in. And it's the most human brands in the world invest in and believe in brand awareness.
I love that. Thank you for sharing all that. Great takeaways.
My pleasure. I'll be here all week.